I wanted to talk to you tonight about Torah-keeping cults. And I know this is a tough word, but when we look at ministries like Seventh-day Adventism, Messianic Judaism, 119 Ministries, and Hebrew roots cults, they have to retain that word because they don't know the gospel. The gospel is that we believe by grace through faith what Christ did on the cross. If we believe it by faith, that it's sufficient to bridge the gap between God and man, then indeed we're saved, outside the works of the law. But Messianic Judaism, Seventh-day Adventism, they will claim that we're saved by grace through faith, but clearly, as I taught this myself, they believe that the maintenance of that relationship between God and man is maintained by Torah keeping. My friends, that's an idol. That is a golden calf. And I can say this without question. Even a young man today questioned me about Colossians chapter 2, 16 and 17, a Seventh-day Adventist. And he says, no, that was the Sabbaths that were fulfilled, the shadows of the old covenant that Christ fulfilled. That's just a ceremonial law. My friends, the law cannot be broken into pieces. It cannot be broken up. It's one contiguous unit. Again, full Torah. And you mentioned, young man, respectfully, you mentioned Deuteronomy chapter 31, 26, and says that was just a ceremonial law. Absolutely not. That was complete Torah. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And it contained 2 copies of the 10 Commandments, Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy chapter 5. Look it up for yourself. But how dare I take Christ at his word, where he says very clearly that he came to fulfill the entire law, not just pieces. Luke chapter 24, 44 says he came, when I was with you, I came to fulfill the entire or everything in the law of Moses. Again, that's every part of Torah. The Psalms and the prophets as well. And how dare I defy what Paul would say? My goodness, he says in Galatians chapter 5 and verse 3, you take one little piece out of the Torah and you got to keep the whole thing. Galatians chapter 3 says without question, if you don't do the whole thing, you're under a curse. My friends, without question, you need to be justified in the eyes of God and not teach a bastardized gospel. It says in Acts chapter 13, 39, we are saved when we believe by faith. It literally says in this verse that the law of Moses has 0 justifying power. My friends, I would dare you to prove me wrong.